All right, hello everyone. So today is Sunday, August the 23rd, 2020, and I am here on Dolphin Island, Alabama, just for geographical concerns. And that direction is my east. So that's the Mobile Bay you can see in the distance. On the other side of that is Fort Morgan, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Pensacola, and so on. That is my north in that direction. So that would be Mobile, Alabama, off in that direction. To my west, Mississippi, that way, not too terribly far away at all, and that way, right over that tree line, maybe, I don't want to just guess, but let's say a couple thousand yards is the Gulf of Mexico. So let's see what Hurricane Marco now has just been classified. Let's see what Hurricane Marco is doing real quick. I am facing the outermost feeder bands, and by the look of it, they're probably 40 miles away, just these outer feeder bands. So I'll try to zoom in on those and see if you can get a kind of look-see. Okay. So right now, Marco has been strengthened to a Category 1, a minimal Category 1 hurricane. The pressure is at about 993 millibars, which means it has been strengthening. There's a lot of high-level wind shear off to the west of the storm. So what does that mean? That means I think a lot of the kind of meat of the storm could come right here on Dolphin Island. This is my kind of canal that comes into the back of our house. So right now it is low tide. It is low tide. High tide tonight is around, I think, or actually it's tomorrow morning, like 2 in the morning. And then I think the bulk of this storm is going to come on shore sometime around 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, whether it's in New Orleans, as they're saying, or somewhere even west of that. But I do have some maybe disagreements with what the Weather Channel and the National Hurricane Service are saying. Again, I've watched these things so many times gain strength, and when these storms gain strength, they draw north. So I'm thinking there might be a northerly wobble, which may cause a lot more destructive weather here in this area. But let's take a look at some maps, models, and see how everything's going. All right, let's check it out. Oh, real quickly, by the way, the storms are moving in from that direction. So currently Marco, as the crow flies, would be kind of right off to my southeast. So the way that the storm is supposed to, is projected, it's supposed to come across and kind of turn off to the south and west and kind of scoot across and maybe head a little bit more west. I think this one might come a little bit more north, but those are the feeder bands moving in from my south and my east, headed to the north and to the northwest. Let's take a quick look at our local Doppler radar. If you watch these past couple of videos, I've been trying to use some new features that I've just now learned. Pardon my old age of 42. A lot of this is still new to me. But we are in Dolphin Island, where that green dot is located on the map, and you can see the outermost feeder bands that I have pictured are very, very close. So here's that line of feeder bands that all of you were just looking at. And again, they move, the winds come out of the northeast. We call it the northeasterly flow. And when that happens, storm surge builds up on these western sides of the Mobile Bay, on these western sides of this northeasterly flow. So that's why you see the storm surge warnings, the tropical storm warnings, or at this point hurricane warnings, located in this direction, and not so much over here. It's more of a watch on this side. I do think that this storm will end up moving a little bit more, not necessarily to the east, but I think it'll push north a little bit longer, and therefore I think this cone will shift more towards, say, the Mississippi Gulf Coast area. So either way, it's not looking too good for New Orleans, but let's take a look at some of the models and see where these things are going. All right, let's see if I can navigate through this. All right, so far so good. We will go to spaghettimodels.com. All right, let's start with now Hurricane Marco. So yesterday, Hurricane Marco was Tropical Storm Marco. The pressure was somewhere around 1,000 millibars. It has dropped to 993 millibars, which means that this storm is strengthening. Currently moving north-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And this is the 1 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time update. The next one will come out at 4 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, and that's when the latest models will come. The models have basically remained like this since very early this morning. I think when the models come out at 4 o'clock, I think that Marco will have a little bit more of the Mississippi Gulf Coast involved in it, which again, if you've watched these videos or know about the intensity of hurricanes, they have 4 quadrants. The right front quadrant is generally the most destructive. So for everyone right here, right now, that is in the Dolphin Island area, I know a lot of you here in Dolphin Island, what's up, Dolphin Island, watch these. So everybody, get your furniture up, especially on the west end. High tide tonight is going to actually be in the early hours of tomorrow morning. So low-lying areas will definitely have flooding. Move your cars to the higher ground on the eastern side of the island, probably being your best bet. I don't think the wind will be too terribly bad here. But there might be some power outages, etc. But the storm surge here can be quite disastrous. Now, for New Orleans, let's say, they've got 2 of these things that are headed in that basically same direction. So their pump and levee system will definitely get tested. I think they just spent somewhere around $17 billion on a new levee system, or a new addition to their levee system. So it's definitely going to get tested. Quick look at the wind, or the wind, or the level of wind intensity over the next couple of days. You can see the purple is associated with Marco. That is located in the middle of the map. Off to the bottom right is Laura, which is going to be the Bonnie version of this Bonnie and Clyde 2 tandem type setup. I do think that the Weather Channel, National Hurricane Service, again, I think there's so many different models right now. Looking at Laura, I think that the models are going to move a lot more as this, the second storm, which we haven't gotten to, Laura, moves into the Gulf, gets out of Cuba. Once it gets into that smoking hot water, Laura could be devastation for a lot of us. So we'll see how this plays out. But back to Marco for a minute. Marco, again, I think will hold tight at about a 75 mile an hour and 80 mile an hour hurricane, only because of the wind shear. But I do think that the coastal Mississippi and coastal Alabama, namely Dolphin Island, Fort Morgan, I think they're going to get a lot of brunt, a lot of brunt off this storm, because the wind shear will push those storms and squalls and feeder bands off to our side. So just because the center of circulation is coming across maybe to the west of us, it does not mean that the weather is going to be great here. That's for sure. So don't lose track of that. Here's a couple of models. This isn't my favorite model setup, but nonetheless, here's a few spaghetti models that came out again early this morning. I do think these will change as about 4 p.m. Central, and most of them are in unison this morning of making landfall somewhere around New Orleans. Again, New Orleans is in this area. If you draw the 4 quadrants, where's that right front? It is right here where we are in Dolphin Island. We're very used to that here. And we are on the west side of the Mobile Bay. So we definitely need to keep our eyes out for this storm, Marco. All right, moving forward. So let's check out the models that I like the most with really any storm. This one I think is more realistic, only because of a lot of these models have the storm traveling more northerly before it makes the westerly turn. If this holds to be true, it will be a very rough night tonight here in Dolphin Island, coastal Mississippi. What's up, Mike in Mississippi? And I think the heaviest of this storm should be on the ground here somewhere around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So hopefully I can get out in it and see some good footage. Again, I won't bore you with just, minor wind or minor rainfall, but I think it could be interesting tomorrow morning. All right, so let's shift topics and let's take a look at, and again, these are the intensity models. We've talked about these. Everything seems to be in line at this point, that it's about as strong as it will get, but don't take that for granted, because all these storms are Mother Nature, and they pack a punch in one way, shape, or form. Just because it doesn't have wind doesn't mean that the storm surge won't destroy everything you have or take lives in shallow water on the beaches. So be very, very careful. Let's shift over here to what I think will be a monstrous storm. By the way, this is a quick rainfall forecast for the next 24 to 48 hours where we are. And again, we're at Dolphin Island, so you can see that in that area, again, the map is telling you basically that that's where the northeastern part of the storm will come across. So we're going to be getting just as much as the best of them here tomorrow morning. All right, so let's look at Laura. Or Bonnie. Bonnie and Clyde's legacy has now been taken over by Marco and Laura. So Laura is really smoking along. Laura is moving west-northwest at 21 miles per hour. It's interfering now with Cuba. It just crossed over Dominican Republic, Haiti. I've heard, unfortunately, people have lost their lives there, mudslides, etc. We've talked about that before. Those countries, they don't have the infrastructure, and they're hilly, and unfortunately, houses and homes are toppled quite easily there. As this storm, though, moves into the Gulf of Mexico, the water temperature right now is about 87 degrees. I actually measured that outside of my back door in the canal I showed you at the beginning of the video. It is 87 degrees where I am, and that means hurricane punch. So we have Gatorade or sports drinks when we go play. Hurricanes have hot water. That is their go-go juice. So when this thing gets into the Gulf of Mexico, it will, and I'm telling you, it will explode. The wind shear will dissipate. There won't really be anything to obstruct it from intensifying, and it could intensify rapidly, and we'll see that projection on some of these intensity models. But when hurricanes gain strength, they tend to turn north. So the stronger they get, the quicker and stronger they get stronger, if that made any sense, the storms tend to veer north. And that's why you see the storm veering off to the north as it approaches land, because it'll be strongest then. I think it will exponentially strengthen. I think it will make a more northerly turn in the central Gulf of Mexico. And I do think that this is the storm that we all need to take very, very, very seriously. I can't overstress that. I've said that since I started these videos, that this one is the one to look at. Let's look at some of the latest models. Again, this is the same kind of site that's not always spot on, but it does have the European, Colorado State models and a lot of other models here, and a couple of them have the storm are really picking up steam, turning north over central Louisiana, even over into Texas. But we got to remember, if this storm intensifies, it will make that northerly turn, and this general area right here is in for a really wake-up call. So let's go to the models that I really enjoy to look at. And as you can see here, this has another dead-on collision with New Orleans. New Orleans, if they get two of these, may luck and everything that you need to stay positive be with you, because two of these, I can promise you, in the levee system, are may very well ride on board with what Katrina did. You know, one of them, no big deal, but two of them, the water levels still haven't receded. You're looking at potential levee issues. But again, I do not think that this is the exact track. I do think that the forecasted track will shift, and I think it will move a little bit more to the east. So where all of them are more kind of kicked out here to the west, I think more like Mikey or Mike Etter, my buddy in Mississippi, I think he's looking at more of a direct landfall. I could be wrong. And it may move further west. I may be wrong. But 30 years watching these storms, generally if they are in hot water with little wind shear, they pick up steam and charge north. But I may be wrong. I hope I am wrong for that one, because look at the intensity models. The intensity models are all pegged at about a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane. You can see that. And those are monsters in of themselves, but we've got a couple respectable models looking at a Category 3 or a Category 4 hurricane. We've all been through storms like, let's say, Marco, but this has the potential to be one that we may not want to sit through. But we'll see. I hope not. But we'll see what happens with this one. So hopefully I'll be back on tomorrow with some really good weather. If it's just your run-of-the-mill wind and rain, you know, I may not get out there. But I hope I am. I hope to be out in it and the elements and getting down. I can't wait. Probably won't sleep very much because I'll be so excited about it. And then don't forget, Monday morning is my projected landfall for Marco. I think Laura will come in sometime around Wednesday. So if I get any good weather between now and when Laura finally gets into the Gulf and we can start thinking about where she is going to go, because I can guarantee you no one really knows at this point. I feel it will turn more north, and I feel like we will have major impacts from that here, but I hope I'm wrong. But I'll be back, if no weather tomorrow that's, to speak about, or, to kind of show you the brute force of Mother Nature. Then I'll be back on once Laura gets into the Gulf, and then it's anybody's game. So stay tight, stay positive, keep your eyes on the weather. Much love to everyone. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Let's go! Vamos, as I like to say. Keep your grind on, keep your game face on, stay steady, keep working, never quit, never give up. Don't think about what people say. Just keep grinding, all right? Take care, much love, peace, and I'll see you soon. Take care.